We've got 2 new people on today that we haven't seen yet. Oh, well, actually, yes, the podcast that's coming out today about La Cascarita is going to have all of us on there. But Nathan, we haven't got to hear your voice.
That's true, Nate.
Nathan is kind of the brains behind the logo, the merch, the digital space, a lot of the creative stuff. You're the brains behind it.
I'm to blame.
Yeah.
So if you don't like any of it, just go ahead and send hate tweets at this guy.
Now that we have you on the podcast, let me tell you.
I know. I'm just waiting to like block all the tomatoes and like stuff that's gonna be thrown at me.
Let's do a bunch of live tweets at Nathan at Nathan G.
It's a good thing I don't have a Twitter account.
There you go.
So we got to talk about our block party. We hadn't even discussed our block party.
That's a good point.
That's the key.
Yeah.
In this month.
You talk about it.
All right, so we have an event.
Leading it.
All right, so we have an event coming up down in Tioga, where not just in Tioga, the brewery, but as a partner, we have a number of the Fuego Flame collaboration people.
Yep, Solid Goods Printing.
Solid Goods. We have
Iron Bullies.
The people that were going to do the Fresno Eats, the actual party aside from Tioga. So we have them.
Fresno Street Eats, Mike Oz. Yep.
And then who else is coming with us? Who else is going to be there for it? Oh, Iron Office.
Iron Office will be there. Iron Bullies.
So whatever. The point is,
we're going to do a collab beer can.
Yeah.
With Tioga Sequoia, which is going to be pretty cool.
So the event is going to be hosted by all those people that we just talked about, but it's basically for the community. We're going to have a good time, music, soccer, and food. Well,
we forgot to mention Joga. Joga to Fresno. So we partnered with AP for La Cascarita this past weekend, which was incredible. Yep. Shout out to everybody here for all the work they put in. Andrea, you want to talk a little bit about the idea originally and why we did this?
Yeah, well, I thought it was something that was going to be super fun to do. I mean, to bring back all of the alumni and just kind of hang out, and let them kind of, let that rust kind of get off.
She was definitely calling about like, man, these guys don't look like they played in a while. I'm like,
hey. The coronavirus.
It's all in good faith, But I thought it would be such a great idea, and then obviously with the whole podcast situation, they loved that part, right?
They did. Yeah, AP and Jesus at Joga were just like having the live commentary and kind of some of the shit talking that we did on Nini Blanco. Thank you, Nini, for being a good sport.
Yeah. Right.
They loved it. They thought it was like a super cool setup that we had a futsal game going on, but with like a live broadcast happening at the same time. It's pretty fun.
Right.
Yeah, and I think just in general, everybody going out there and enjoying kind of like a pre-soccer thing, just so everybody can get an introduction and kind of get the feel for what it would be like, at the actual Fuego games.
What do you think it was like for the players that came back and you saw them like interact with each other?
I really enjoyed it because it was I was watching them the entire time.
Okay.
Easy.
Oh, take it. It's a family show. It's a family show.
No, I'm just kidding. No, so I was watching them and I started kind of seeing them every time that a new player would show up, and they were kind of like, oh, hey, man, what's up? So it's like that sort of feel that you get when you haven't seen somebody in such a long time. So you can definitely tell that they were enjoying it. I mean, they played a lot of games. They were rotating constantly. And so you can definitely see and, just how much they enjoyed it.
Right. And for us, it was a challenge to put the podcast outdoors because we haven't done that. So it was interesting to record some of the footage plus, do the commentary. Plus, at the same time, we were the audio was being used and transmitted in the show, in the actual game. So the players were like laughing at us and we were making fun of them. So all in all, it was a cool experience for us to, execute.
Mm-hmm.
And shout out to Jeremy for actually being an actual commentator.
Oh, damn. Yeah. He was a commentator.
He was like all in it while we were supposed to be doing that.
We were like, hey, Schultze, like, come sit down at this extra chair.
So he definitely saved us.
It's the universe. It was meant to be.
Yeah. Shout out to Little Caesars for sponsoring Jeremy Schultz.
Yeah. That was pretty cool. But yeah, back to what we're going to do. So we did that. And now on the 19th, we're going to have our block party. And hopefully we can do the same setup and have like, some kind of fun, activity for people to like take back and be like,
DJs these guys, at night.
These guys are cool, but with the commentary stuff, or just getting on mic and doing a little podcast too, or interviews or something. Yeah. To create that buzz, because that buzz from that game was cool. Mm-hmm. Now let's take it on the 19th and make it something interactive as well, so that people
have all of the fans interacting with us and that sort of stuff, just so that they can also feel included with everything cool. That you guys do. And I'm going to include myself to everything we do.
I think that's a huge part of it. I think recognizing one of the big kind of things to take note of that we had all discussed before going into this is exactly what this is going to be in terms of a boilerplate going forward into our events in the future, and understanding like this is the type of connection we want to have with our fans, our supporters, our bosses. You know?
Well, technically, if people don't know this, but like Andrea's probably like the CEO of this whole thing. You know,
she's definitely one step ownership for sure.
She's got stock.
Yeah, she's definitely the highest stockholder.
Yeah, the holder here. So, for people that don't know, the Fuego team is it. This is it. You know, George in the back over there doing the camera, you know, he's helping us. But technically,
Josh Garcia.
Yeah, we're missing one or two people here, but the core of Fuego is this.
Yeah,
this is it. Andrea included, so, you know, which is interesting. Exactly. We're doing all these things.
How to get here, we don't know.
You know, and it's a very small team, you know, getting things done.
It's fun, though. I mean, I think about this all the time because I've worked for a lot of different teams now, you know, and I think when you start with like a small core group of people that have a shared belief, that truly believe what they're doing, you can really build a culture that I think comes out in the brand. Mm-hmm. Like, I hope the brand is fun and it's inviting and it's welcoming and it's open and it's enjoyable to engage with, because I think that's how we try to portray our own work, and hopefully that comes out through the brand.
Yeah, I think so. And then if not, Nate's your fault, bro.
Yeah. At Nate G.
Yeah.
Nate's
so let's talk about the events in July. What's going on with what you're doing, what you want to do? Because we haven't got some dates or accurate information.
A proper introduction yet.
Oh, yeah.
We're going to have a nice little
logo at the bottom.
Right
Andrade.
I can't start talking my intro.
Fuego CEO. That's all I was going to say.
No, I'm just kidding. Okay, so we do have a few things coming up. Back in, April, we did this whole situation with, you know, some cancer kids, obviously, and Chris and I and Fuego went out and kind of donated some Easter baskets to some kids with cancer. I've done stuff actually Chris and I have done a lot of things for cancer patients, you know, adults and stuff like that, and we thought, well, why not some kids this time? Well, we met a group of amazing little kids, and honestly, when we met these kids, I mean, their will to live, they're kind of just, you know, just everything about them, I fell in love with it. Yeah. You know, and I thought it would be a great idea if we come up with something and we do something bigger. I noticed that some of these kids, by kind of keeping up with like their parents and stuff like that, a lot of these kids go to chemo and they dress up. It's kind of like their way to just cope with everything and just kind of forget, you know, the situation that they're having to go through. And so we thought, well, why not we come up with an event and we do, you know, we call it Not All Heroes Wear Capes. And so with that being said, we are planning an event coming up, you know, in partners with actually the Grizzlies, right? The Fresno Grizzlies. Mm-hmm. And we're just going to make these kids feel super special. So we are going to be looking for more kids, you know, and obviously partnering up with the Grizzlies and Fuego and Capelli too. We're going to be donating a few things to them and just make them feel super special. That's their day. And we're going to have them wear little capes and everything. So
that's the July event for Fuego.
Right.
Working with these, which is not a nonprofit yet, but we're looking to figure out a way.
Yeah, definitely. Yep. Yeah, and Capelli was awesome. The moment that they saw what we did with the Easter baskets, and we reached out to them and said, hey, it'd be really cool to give these families some soccer gear, because one of the gifts that we gave them is we gave out a soccer ball in the Easter basket. And I think one of the kids, I forget exactly which one of them, but the parents were like, my kid's glued to the soccer ball. Like, they can't stop playing with the soccer ball. They love the soccer ball. So we just thought, like, man, how cool would it be that we have this new partner, Capelli, that's really talked about, you know, being part of our effort to give back to the community. And they would be really cool if they could deck them out in like a bunch of soccer equipment and gear and all this type of stuff. So the moment they heard it, they were like, where do we send the address? Like, where do we send this stuff to? Like, we'd love to support you. Nice. So they've been super helpful in the process, and I'm really happy that they, you know, they're putting their efforts where they said they were. They want to invest in our community. They want to be part of the growth of the people in our community. So this is the first step of them showing that they're more than just a sponsor.
Right.
Yeah, and to be honest with you, we've done events like this before. We did it a few years ago with Stand Up to Cancer. So we partnered up with big, nonprofits and organizations before. But this is more of like us. This isn't about just kind of, about like, I don't know how to say it, but it's more of like the kids, making them feel super special. And I think one of the biggest ways that these kids will feel more special and feel the love will be, if the entire community comes out.
Okay.
If they come out and support them and just kind of feel, what we felt that day. Because, the entire time, to be honest with you, I had like a knot in my throat watching these kids, because I'm a cancer patient myself and I know what it's like. And then we had one of the little boys, right? He when he opened that door, he was drinking Starbucks and he was super smiling and laughing. And
He just came from chemo.
Yeah, he had just gotten home from chemo, so he had his little port and everything. And I told him, I was like, I've never come home laughing, wanting anything. I just go home and just want to sleep. You know what I mean? And to see that, these kids, that's all they know.
Wow.
You know what I mean? They're 5-6-year-old kids that I have nieces myself, and to see that, it made me super sad. So why not, us kind of do something and make them, like I said before, make them feel special that one day, and hopefully everybody can come out and support them and make them feel that way.
Yeah, no, that's cool.
Yeah, and I think it probably goes without saying, but it's important to just reiterate the support that people feel while they're going through this, whether they're the patient or whether they're the spouse or whether they're the mom or dad or whatever, is extremely important. And being able to have, Andrea talks about it all the time. People say they want to do a lot of stuff.
Right.
But it doesn't always come to fruition. This is your opportunity. You say you want to do something. You say you want to make a difference. You say you want to help. There's going to be kids at our event that need your support. Mm-hmm. And so just show up. That's all you have to do. Just walk into the stadium with us. Buy the $10 ticket or whatever we're going to have to sit out in the bleachers and be part of a cool, Fuego and Grizzlies experience. Just show up. Right. That's all you have to do.
It's definitely something very different, too, because you don't really see it that often, to where a baseball team and a soccer team come together to create any type of event. It's two completely different fan bases. So we actually have to keep that in mind, that day we will come rowdy, very rowdy, to a baseball game, and I think it'll be super fun for everybody.
Yeah, the goal of it is that we create for one day a soccer experience at a baseball game. And so there's one other team, and the Oakland A's have actually done a good job of having drums at the game and these kind of cool experiences. But our hope is that we're going to gather at Tioga, march over as a Fuego fan base, supporting these kids. Not all heroes wear capes. They're going to be dressed up in that type of stuff, and then we'll march in and we'll sit back in our old spot up in the bleachers above left field and drum and chant all game with these kids. So I think it's gonna be a really fun experience, but also super impactful. So be on the lookout for the date, and then we'll release where you can get the tickets and all that stuff.
100%. So Andrea, what else you got for us?
That's actually all I have. So
no,
it was great talking to you guys.
Yeah.
What's it feel like to have to hear all the kind of craziness that goes on in putting this thing together, and the things that we're dealing with, kind of outside of just getting ready for soccer?
What he means is, what's it like to be hanging out with Chris at 11 o'clock? Have Nathan
hearing all this shit.
Yeah. Have Nathan text and be like, "Hey, can you talk right now? I have a question."
It's like, dude,
did you already check? Did you ready to check the podcast, or can we pause? What are we doing?
To your boyfriend, Chris? What's going on?
Yeah, what's happening?
No, so I think it's. I actually really enjoy it. Like I said, I don't work for you guys or anything like that, but I act like I do. But I'm just.
I think it's the other way around. I don't know.
Right.
Right.
But I think it's a lot of fun. I've been watching him, kind of do this from the very beginning, and stressing out, and the good moments and the bad moments and that kind of stuff. So Jose doesn't have hair from all that stress.
That's true. I'm bald, guys. I already pulled all my hair out.
Chris is halfway there.
Yeah.
Nathan,
I'm still waiting.
Yeah. Get those
Nathan's
good
not
genes.
that far.
Yeah.
We're all kind
He's
of
the youngest one here.
speaking up, pulling the hair.
Yeah.
You're the one to talk here.
I'm gonna need a wig. You're gonna
need one of my wigs. Yeah.
Yep.
So we're all bald here from like that stress, you know. So it's a lot. It's a lot of work, and like I said, I've seen it not just from him, but from you guys, you know, from the entire team, and it does take a lot, and you know. I think you guys kind of feel it too, Nathan. You know, you just had a baby and stuff like that. And
Well,
I'm sure
I
your
didn't
wife.
Well, I didn't. You know, I helped.
Groundbreaking.
I was like, well, you act like you did.
I know, right? You look
well,
like you did.
Well, you know, like your
Yeah.
wife, you know,
Yeah.
you don't really see her a lot, so you guys are putting a lot of your heart and all of that. So I really hope that everybody sees that in the upcoming year, and just with all the little events that you know you guys are creating. And so I personally enjoy it.
I think to kind of like point back to something we talked about earlier, the event the other week, La Cascarita, that was a super exhausting day, but at the same time, it was a very like energizing weekend.
Makes it kind of worth it, right?
Even though that night was like really exhausting, I think that next week I had so much like excitement because I think it puts a lot of.
Do it again.
Yeah. I mean, but I think what it does is it puts a lot of the conceptual components. They manifest like in reality.
Right.
So like getting to like put your arm around somebody, cheer, you know, at a score, and like just the excitement that's there. It's like you realize kind of like, oh, this is what I'm doing this for. Like when Escuadron came and was drumming and like it was loud and it was exciting and it was so much fun. It's like, dude, this is the passion that is there in this community for this sport, that on this small of a scale, it's like all the components were there. If you just kind of exploded it up to the size of like a stadium and a full-size pitch,
Imagine
it's like
that.
this is here. Like this is one of the things that we've talked about in terms of like how we think about it from a marketing perspective, is like this is embedded in the different people that have settled in this community, this passion, this connection to the sport, this connection that fans have with each other, where they really are like family, you know? We just, this last weekend, went to the Fresno PVA watch party for the CONCACAF Cup. And that was a blast. That was so much fun. And
so much fun.
I think when you look at the soccer community that's here in town and you realize like these roots run deep. I mean, these people are committed. Like, we
have some of the best fans.
I mean, they showed up to an ice cream shop and had 200 people.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
insane.
Like there's only a few of USA fans there, myself and Nathan included, that got out unscathed. Luckily, somebody at the end of the night was like, "Do you want to come dance?" I was in my USA jersey, and I'm like, "You guys are gonna dance on me. Like, I'm out of here. This is not gonna happen."
But seriously, like even like jokes aside, like we really left like with hugs from that place.
Oh yeah, it was incredible.
Like people were like, "Hey, congratulations!" Like,
good game.
Good game.
Because the real Mexicans here were there, so the Mexicans had your back, you know.
Yeah. No, they were incredible. Vicente does an incredible job with Escuadron and Pancho Villa's Army and the Barcelona group. And man, the culture here is incredible.
They do a great job in including everybody. That's one of the things that I noticed about them, because I've been, you know, here and there with like certain supporter groups, and they're not all like that. Like, yes, you know, they're great and everything, but they're not like super inclusive. You know, it's like
welcoming.
Oh, you come, like super welcoming and stuff like that. And so I think that's pretty amazing.
Yeah. And I think that's indicative of the type of attitude that the people in general, like not just in the Fresno area, but in the Central Valley. I think it's the way that we have grown up. You know, I think we've talked about this in other circles, like where when you come from like a hardworking kind of more blue collar, brown collar background, which a lot of people who yeah, I know. A lot of people who you're like a Louis Vuitton collar. No, I think a lot of people, when you come from those backgrounds, and a lot of people that have settled in the Central Valley come from that background, you learn the value. You learn just how important it is to be connected as a community, not just in like word, but like in deed. Right? So like sharing food with one another. And I think this is so common that we like, you know, it's like someone is sick and it's like, oh, can I bring you dinner, or can I go grocery shopping for you, or can I, right? So like it's like a natural reaction for the people in our area to share resource and share opportunity. And, you know, like we had this joke about like how Mexicanos, like they're not like on Indeed. They're like sharing jobs with their buddies. Like, oh, my cousin has a shop. They're like, whatever, you know?
That's how Jose got this job.
Yeah, that's how I got this job. So technically, it's true.
So it's like,
so
that's
true.
How George is getting his.
Yeah, that's how George is gonna get his job too.
So it's like staying connected to that community is your lifeline. Like it is
Right.
how you find. Like,
You need each other.
Yeah, no, it
Yeah,
really,
you genuinely need each other.
and that comes out in like our love for sport, our love for each other, our love for our community. You know, I think it's just a part of who we are. It's a part of who we are in the Central Valley.
It's an incredible place because you think about all the riots and stuff that happened last year. You know, a lot of chaos throughout the country. And for whatever reason, ours were not like that.
Right.
People actually kind of came together and put their arms around each other and did things peacefully and together and really cared about each other. And I think sometimes as Central Valley residents, we kind of forget that we have that. But that's one of the biggest experiences I took back from living in the Bay Area and living in LA and moving back here is like there's a true sense here that people care about each other, that they care about you, that they want you to do well, that you might know some of your neighbors, a lot of your families around here. So it's a special, special place. And I mean, we're just so prime for Fuego to come back.
I think so. And I think they'll be able to get behind football, soccer, on both sides of, you know, our community, because we have almost 50-50 Hispanic to everything else. So soccer is key. So I feel like if anything could do it, it's soccer. And if we have a stadium downtown, the way that, you know, Chichansi's there, and now, you know, with us working there, if that happens, then that'll be the core for everything event-wise. Because St. Mark Center is up a little bit, you know, further up north. But if we were able to be downtown and then the Hispanic community gets behind it and then the events are actually happening there, shit, Fuego's going to kill it.
Make it an actual downtown like it's meant to be.
Yeah. I think Fuego could be the thing that glues everything else around it.
I hope by the time this podcast comes out, we have a unanimous vote on council with the city of Fresno, and that we can announce that we're playing downtown.
That'd be great.
I hope that is what's soon to come, and I feel like I feel a lot more confident today than I have before. And this is going to come out after the vote, so I could look like a total idiot right now.
No. I mean, we're hoping. It
might. But
we'll make sure to edit it either way so that you look like a complete idiot.
Yeah. But I think we've got a good deal.
What is this, the media?
I think we've got something that the city can benefit from. On the deal structure, and I think we've got a project the city can benefit from in terms of programming and revitalization and continued growth of downtown. So I feel good. I think our councilmen are going to do, the right thing for the city, and I think the right things for the city is to have Fuego in downtown Fresno.
Right. I agree. You guys ready to call it?
No, we're still going to talk about you.
Oh, no, I thought we were done.
Let's talk about you. Let's talk about you.
I was
always try to end.
I was going to go the other way around. I was thinking that you should interview, the president, but okay.
We'll get to him right now. Let's talk about you first. Like, who is Jose?
Oh, no,
where do you come from?
We're going to go.
Pero no eres tanto, eh?
We're going to go deep with the therapy right now.
Therapy session.
No, tell us, what you do here, what's your role, where you come from?
So technically, at the moment, Chris is the only one that's full-time employed. So the rest of us are just, part-timers. So the idea behind my role is to get the community involved in what we do. So bring everybody together. The brands that we've talked about outside, so that we can build a brand before we have a team. Because the idea behind what we're doing is build merch, build logos, build an attitude when we answer our post or when we post, build like the Wendy's character that they have when they answer stuff that before we even have a soccer team or sell tickets. That way people fall in love with the brand and recognize us, like the big one, like the Adidas and Nikes and all that stuff, and they just have that love. And it doesn't matter if the soccer is there or not. So that's how I come into Fuego, and what I love to do in general. I come from a background of marketing, Hispanic marketing especially. I worked for Telemundo many years, and now working with Comcast for many years as well. The community behind, or the concept behind what I do, is just get the Hispanic community on board with these brands.
What do you think is the biggest challenge that teams here have faced in connecting with the Hispanic market?
the majority of the stuff's probably out of their reach. Like for other stuff that they've done, I don't think that we go to remates enough. We don't go to the small towns enough. We don't talk in their language, and we don't address like the father figure in the family, like the Mexican soccer fan that will not drive to downtown.
With the money?
Yeah, that will not drive to downtown. So we got to get them however we can to come out. We got to get the dad that wears that sombrero and goes to the remate to come watch that game, because they will if it's Atlas, America, Chivas, or any of those big name brands, but they won't for the smaller brands. So we got to figure out how do we, make that connection.
Yeah, how do we make this their team as well?
Yeah. And it's got to be them, because they'll bring the whole kids and, they'll bring the whole family.
So do you think the connection with that patriarch of the family is through the kids? Like, is it through the youth side, or how do you penetrate that situation to be able to get into that gentleman's mind be able to get him to want to say, like, all right, my team might be Chivas, but I live in Reedley. Yeah. How do I have Central Valley Fuego be my team too?
We got to go grassroots. We got to be in those events. We got to be in the remate small towns and put up the tent and the Fuego guys and then the Fuego girls, and then just start talking to them in person. Because when we did that for Telemundo many, many years ago, we were in the street basically competing with Univision, and we were always getting our share. But, our share was 33% of the market. Well, I wasn't picking, I don't want 100 of it. I want 33, so we got to go out to the small little towns and just campaign basically, for the brand. But because of COVID, we haven't been able to like really get out, and we just got our tents and we just got our stuff. So essentially
and Sunday League just started.
Grassroots to Sunday Leagues, grassroots to the community. That's how we're going to get them, because they are in their hometowns, in Reedley, in Parlier, and they're there. And they will go to the remates and we'll go around and do that stuff. But if we don't go to them first, then we can't.
You know what we need? We need a money machine.
Yeah.
Put it in your budget.
No. Yeah, stuff like that. Activations.
Activations. Stuff that's interactive, stuff that we can kind of embed in. Like, I think one of the things we talked about is like in some marketing meetings is like the subtle difference between like marketing and branding, or your brand, and how marketing is kind of what we try to put forward like in the market, and your brand is how people perceive that. And one of the ways that we don't have as much control over the brand as we do the marketing. We have some influence on it, but one of the ways that we can have this influence is to, like what he was saying right now, is to be there, to be present. And how we've worded it in the past, like we don't want people to just get behind the team. Right. We want the people to know that we're behind them as well. And so that's why, one of the things that Jose's been doing is finding local small businesses that we can partner with that show like, hey, we're behind business in downtown, business in the Central Valley.
Talk about Valparaiso.
Yeah, you guys have been doing that for quite some time now. Like, I think all of, Iron Bullies.
So we have Andrade, and then we have Valparaiso, and then I just talked to recently another Fruta Fresca, so that I can get the paleta made. So the concept behind what I'm trying to do.
You guys are gonna get paleta?
Yeah. So the concept behind what I want to do is I want to put Fuego on everything I possibly can. So if we can put a Fuego drink out, like coffee, if we can put Fuego leggings for women, Fuego t-shirts for men, for bodybuilders, Fuego on everything that we possibly can through the local brands, and the local brands will push us as well before we even have a team. And this is the important part, because if they have the microphone to expose us, and then we can expose them in return, by the time we have a team, we're good.
But you guys have to admit though, the Fox was a great idea. The Fox is already well known here.
Oh yeah.
And
Fuego Fox
people recognize
he's the man.
People love him. Yeah. And so
why change something that's already working that we could take advantage of? We don't need to do.
I mean, regardless of the team, he's the mascot of this town.
Yeah.
Now you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So we're proud to have him back. That was definitely fun, and people have received him well. So I think a lot of people are happy that he's back.
That is very true. The Fox is killer.
Yeah. He's a beast.
He has the best dance moves, to be honest with you.
While we were at the Mexico-US game, like, I'm looking around. I'm like, where the hell is...
Dude, he's everywhere.
Where the hell is he? And I look down. He's just sitting on a lawn chair right in front of the game, like hanging out, watching the game.
Waving the Mexican flag.
Yeah, I'm like, come on.
Right, yeah,
what are you doing?
picture.
USA. So yeah, it's hard to track him down sometimes, but he's the best.
Yeah,
I think he's honestly, I'll say this, he's by far the best in the USL. No question.
Yeah.
Best mascot
I think
in the USL.
so. It's very creative.
Yes, and I really think that we can make him to be way better.
Best in the country of all.
Have you seen those mascots that like do like the whole dance moves and like the
Oh,
NBA
yeah,
and stuff
yeah.
like that? If we can do that with him, I think that would be great.
Yeah, he's got his own personality. He's hard to talk to.
He's kind of like he's a little bit ornery too. Like he's
ornery.
Constantly playing practical jokes. And
He's a jokester.
Yeah. But I mean, he's a fox, so
he's very smooth. He's very smooth with the ladies.
So let's talk about the entities, which is just cool. So the Fox is its own entity. The team is going to be its own entity. The store is another entity of its own. The
Flame collaboration.
Flame collaboration is another entity of what we're trying to do, and that's all encompassed.
This podcast is also.
That's true. So there's going to be many ways for us to get the community behind us, which is a different part of just playing soccer and collecting, ticket money. So that is why we want to make sure that people understand, like, we're not just here to play soccer. We're here to stay in different avenues for everybody to watch and take advantage of.
I mean, maybe we take a minute to like talk about like even what this is about, like being behind the microphone and in front of the camera. And I think really it's about we have plans in the future to not just do this, kind of recorded podcast type of thing, but
you guys are just letting everybody know your plans.
I know.
So that everybody else can steal them.
She's always thinking that.
Damn, girl, damn business all day long.
Giving out your trade secrets.
She's like 3 steps ahead. She's like 3 steps ahead.
All right, we're gonna copyright everything.
Okay, never mind. I can't
So
say
you
it.
know
Put the
you
trademark on here.
There's
big plans.
Yes,
for this
I was gonna say.
podcast.
Yeah.
We want this to be in kind of the most brief sense. We want this to be a doorway or a window into the team, not just us again like putting out marketing content, but really like a way for the fans and people of the Valley to kind of access information and insight into their team, into their players, into their club. Like we want them to know this is what we're doing. These are our plans. This is what happened this last weekend. These are our futures. These are our goals. Like, and not just from kind of the front office, technical side, but like the actual
human side. I mean, it's important. It's important that I think one, no one probably gives a shit who works in the front office. It doesn't matter.
One cares.
No one really cares.
Except for the president.
No one really cares. Not even me. But I think it is good for people to humanize and kind of feel like these are the people that are working for the club. These are kind of the way that they're thinking, and these are some of the things I can get behind as a fan on the side. Why are things happening the way they're happening? Who is running the team? Is it right or is it wrong? But I think when people are really going to get dialed in and engaged is the moment we get to speak to the players and the coaches on a weekly basis, and you dive into these incredible stories of like, I mean, there was a player on our team, Suleiman, that was on Fresno FC. He had trained with Fuego before, I believe. The guy had like a stab wound across his belly from this like craziness. He was born and raised in Africa, lived in like really, really bad situation, gangs, all this stuff. And soccer gave him an opportunity to come to the United States.
Gives him that outlet.
Yeah, and it could literally have saved his life. For him coming here, and now a guy that's gone throughout the country. I think he got married recently, but these insane stories that you hear how soccer's really changed someone's life and who they are. I mean, that's what, like we talk about it all the time. The UFC's done an incredible job of telling the story of the athletes, and it's extremely important that people get to know the athletes and where they come from. And I think this is going to be a great platform.
Yeah, I really think that you guys are doing something different with the whole podcast situation, and you guys are definitely doing a good job with that. And you guys have had great responses with having a few players on, like how you said, a few people from Fuego back in the day, some of the supporter groups, and I think that that's what the fans appreciate the most. Who is behind the camera, who's behind the marketing idea, who's behind the t-shirts, who's behind just kind of everything. How did this even come about? Because everybody was so disappointed that soccer was gone. and then all of a sudden it's back. It's like, how did this happen? We'll talk about that process later.
Yeah, no, George has been marking us over there 45 minutes already.
I mean, we've had incredible people on so far, and you think about Christopher Gabriel, which is just like, he's a pro talker.
Right.
Like, that guy, his voice is just beautiful to listen to. You know what I mean? Like, he's so good at what he does. And then you have Andy Boy on, and it's just chaos, and there's masks on, no shirt, and I think that's one of the fun things. You never really know what to expect. Some podcasts can be super informative. Right. We just filmed, another one with The Freeze, and shout out to them and kind of what they're doing to get going this year. And that was super informative, good for people to listen to. But then you also have like just crazy, fun, entertaining ones like Nini, where you get on and just talk a bunch of crap for an hour, and it's like people are either getting informed or they're getting a window into the life of the people that are involved in the Fuego and in soccer. So it's fun for us. We enjoy it.
Right.
And I hope, everybody out there listening enjoys too.
Yeah, and I think so. And the reason why we want to make sure that we are always on is because we want to be able to
be top of their mind.
Yeah, top of mind. But like, okay, you guys, if we can create a relationship between the fan and the audience, not just through soccer. We'll talk about soccer, but that soccer only once a week, twice a week, or something like that. But the podcast, they can like
talk to me about it every day.
Talk about everything else that happens, like the UFC, like we talked about, like the Hawani show, the recaps. That there's still more content, not just the game itself. We go back and then create
there's a lot of culture that surrounds the game of soccer.
And there you go. Mm-hmm. That's
Which
what it is.
again, you guys are doing such a good job at, because how many presidents, Mr. Wilson,
Jesus,
do you guys see like going out to these community events? Like, these supporters and these fans feel so comfortable texting you, getting a hold of you, and saying, hey, can you come out? And they know you're going to be there.
Right.
So I think that they definitely appreciate that also. Like I said, the whole
it's hard. I wish I could
out.
make it to every event. I'm like, and you guys know this because you're all close friends of mine, I am an antisocial being. Like, I am not good in public spaces. I'm uncomfortable. I'm shy. Yeah. But I do, I do my best to go to as many as I can. I can't make it to all of them, but I do want people to know, like, send me a message, send me a text if you have my phone number. Like, there's a lot of people that care a lot about this project.
Spread them so thin.
There's a lot of people that care so much about this project, and one of the most difficult parts, and this sounds stupid, but of my job is just trying to keep everybody up to speed. That's a stakeholder, and every bit of information that comes out about negotiations or what's going on with this or that. And so sometimes just check in with me. Shoot me a text, shoot me a message. I'll get to you at some point. And
we'll have his number down below.
No, and I appreciate that people are so supportive. I've had like the best last year and a half of people saying we believe in everything you guys are doing. We're 100% behind you. I've personally had a ton of support from friends, family, and supporters, like, propelling me forward. So it's this is a family. It's truly a family, and I'm happy to be part of it.